Hiya guys and welcome back to Aid's Workshop. So we're 7th of January today, well into the new year. It's wet, horrible, nasty. It's not particularly cold, it's actually quite mild, but yeah, we're sort of over Christmas now and I've got a bit of time to get back in the shed. So this video is going to be mostly bits and pieces, small parts for the Webster engine. So yeah, I pretty much make the two cams, the one for the ignition and the one for the exhaust. Round off, I haven't got the part here, round off the camshaft support block. I put a radius on the top of that, and then we make a start on the valve guides as well. So I think by the time I put all that lot into this video, that'll be more than enough. I've been putting up longer videos lately, sort of 45, 47 minutes, and the amount of time it takes to upload them. You know, the editing and all the rest makes no difference, but it's the upload time. It's trying to get them out on time once a week, so I try and keep them around the 30-minute mark if I can. Anyway, we'll go, I think, straight to the lathe and we'll get on with it. So, something completely different, bit of turning for a change, been a lot of milling lately. Right, this is the ignition cam, so I'm modifying this a little bit as well. Diameter of 688 required. I'm hoping this is going to be the last cut. I'm just using it's a piece of 316 stainless, because that's what I had, was an appropriate size and fairly wear resistant. So it should be good with a set of points running on it. So 688 diameter I'm looking for. I mean, it's not critical, but 688. And this is going to have a flat machined on it, which opens and closes the points. But the major diameter is 688, so I've just faced the end off, and I'm just turning a portion back at 688. And got a superb finish on there. So happy with that. We'll polish it up at the end because we don't want to wear the points out too much. So let's see how we go on. I'm hoping that is around the 688 mark. I don't know, can you see it? 6886. That's, yeah, we'll stick with that. So put the mic away. Right, so I'm going to put a relieved area on here, maybe 6mm wide, undercut down. I tell you what I'm going to do first is it needs an 8mm reamed hole up the middle, because that's the size of the camshaft it's going to run on. And I have decided, let me turn that power feed off, I have decided that I am going to put the ignition cam on the camshaft as opposed to the crank, how it was in the original drawing. Okay. And then 8mm reamer. Ooh, chuck slipped. Okay, don't want to stop this during the stroke, so wind it back. That should do. And slow it down. So I've left a ½ mm for the reamer. Let's just clear that. That's the reamer right through. Okay. So I'm hoping that my piece of 8mm silver steel, I've got a piece here, yeah. Let's have that chuck out of the way. Let's have the chuck out of the tailstock. Give me a bit of space. And the 8mm silver steel there. That should just be a nice fit in there. It will be. Okay, so let's put a chamfer on that hole. Noga, where are you hiding? Okay, so simple setup here. I'm leaning around the tripod to do this. Put a bit of a Sharpie on it, so give me a bit of a guide. 3/8, let's have a look. I think we've got it. In fact, I've thrown up a little burr there. Let's just step over a bit. Go back the other way. Little burr over the edge, just remove that with a cutter. Using a 3/8 cutter to cut a 3/8 wide part. Back the other way. Okay. So, any reason why I can't put the hole this side where the flat is? No, not really. And while I got it set up here, I'll find the centre of this and pop M4, maybe an M4 grub screw. I'll have a look at the grub screws, see what I got, see what's going to work out, what's going to look about right. And we'll put an M4 grub screw in there. So M3 seemed more appropriate. I've just centre drilled it, set up. It's tricky stuff to work with, 316 stainless. I mean, once you get the hang of it, know the do's and don'ts. It isn't too bad. Let me put this drill away. But I do find, don't stop if you start cutting on it. Don't stop the tool on the job. It seems to surface harden or work harden very quickly. So I need to get an M3 tap. I do have a new set of those. I'll put the tap in the spindle here and just run it in by hand. But we'll have to run the reamer. I haven't put that away, back through the middle afterwards. And I'm going to have to make up a tiny little piece of brass, perhaps, to go underneath the grub screw. So when I put the grub screw in, it doesn't damage the end of the shaft. These are stainless steel grub screws. I think just standard 304. I might just have to shorten that somehow. I'm sure we'll find a way to do it. It's a bit long. But yeah, so that'll be that part done. I still haven't got the points or anything like that, but at least that's a starting point for it. A starting point, yeah, for the points. So there's the finished article. I just give it a little polish over on the leading trailing edges here. Remove the burrs. But yeah, grub screws in. So that is the ignition cam. I do need to order a set of points. So I made a little sketch, let's get that mic out of the way, of the exhaust profile, or the exhaust cam profile. So it's 185 thick. I'm going to put a boss on this again. Major radius over the high point is 356. 8mm hole in again, because it's going to go in the 8mm shaft, and the minor radius is 562. And then the overall width at the top is 254 thou. So I've just written down 0.712. I'm going to turn a piece of bar up this major radius, which will mean pretty much that radius is done. Then I'm going to turn a boss on it at this minor radius of 562. wide enough again to put a grub screw in. So that's where I am with that. That's the way I'm going to make it. And then obviously the large part, maybe I'll set it up on a rotary table, get the angles and what have you to do this top section. So I got this piece of 01 drill rod, silver steel, base the end off, and I've done it to the 712 diameter. So now we're going to set it up. I'm a bit close there, I'm all out of focus, am I? We're not too bad. So yeah, that's the next step, is to turn a shoulder on it wide enough for a grub screw, much like I did with the other cam. And yeah, we'll do it to that minor diameter next. So as we spoke about earlier on, the major diameter here is 712. So that'll leave that radius on the final cam is done on the top of there. The minor diameter of the cam is 562, so I've turned the boss at 562, that's going to have the grub screw in, and I'm just in the process of putting an 8mm reamed hole in the centre. So much the same as you saw me do earlier, I'm going to bring you back when we've done that, and then we'll have a rethink. So what I've done is drilled and reamed it out. Those are the major and minor diameters, so this part here, this high part, is going to be the cam profile. So I put an undercut at the back, just down to, you know, about that diameter as well. I'm just going to measure this up in a minute, but it's going to go in the collet chuck in the rotary table. So I'm just going to part this off, but this is basically just something for me to hold on to when I machine the profile of the cam. So I've just noticed all the stuff in the background. I really do need to tidy up. So I turned this back diameter here, which is just for holding in a collet chuck in the rotary table. We'll come to that a bit later. It's like 13.95, so it'll go in the 14mm collet, no problem. So this is a major diameter. This is going to be the remaining boss afterwards, and obviously when I machine the two flats on here, they have to go down to the center point of this diameter. And then obviously I've got to get the angle of the flats right to be able to get the width of the portion on the top right. So I haven't thought how to do that yet, but I'm thinking rotary table, so that's the way we're going to go. I just put the rotary table up and then realised it's still got the fixture plate on, and I'm going to want that to put the rad on the top of the camshaft support block, should we call it. So rather than put the quarter corners on, I thought I'd put a full rad on. So centred up on the hole in the centre where the bearing fits, and I think this is finishing cut. I nearly skipped it, but I thought you might want to see the setup. So this is all in fresh air, cosmetic, but here we are. I think we'll call that, and spin him round so you can see it. I just used a vacuum just now. I'm going to brush it to hand. Okay, so there we are. There's a nice full rad on there now all the way around. Just done with a quarter cutter, but yeah, that looks a lot nicer, and it'll sort of blend in with the diameter of the larger gear, as it were. So yeah, I'll go with that. So I got an ER32 collet with an MT2 shaft in the taper in the rotary table. I've set the rotary table on 0. I've centered up center of the world. I got a quarter cutter in here, and obviously that's in an ER32 as well. So I got opposing ER32s, but we're all centralized. Okay. So I could do all sorts of tricks to work out what the angle is, to get the intersections, to get the right width there. I could, yeah, I could. And I looked at it and thought, no, I can't be asked with that. So I'm going to machine one side first. So I'm going to machine this away to a flat where it intersects on the smaller radius. So that's step one. So we'll do that, and then we're going to spin him round later. So I've swept back and forth and just put a flat on there for starters. And I've taken a reading in Y. My offset reading is 10.440, and it's just scratched on there. Okay, so I'm going to rotate the rotary table now round to the other side, and I'm going to set an angle so yeah, it's hard to show, but an angle that's too big. I mean, I could put just a straight flat on the other side, but I mustn't go further than 10.440 at any point. That's my sort of Bible size. So yeah, my central size. So yeah, now I'm looking to reduce this radius on here down to a width of 256. So it'll all become fairly apparent when I get further on. So I'm going to spin the workpiece now, just release the locks. Okay. Right around. And I'm going to go to 180. Which is... it should be coming up. That's 180. So that in effect is just putting two flats on. Yeah, so that, yeah, in effect is just putting two flats on. So I'm going to machine this side now in exactly the same manner to the same reading. So 10.440 on my DRO. It's difficult to explain what I'm doing here, but the flat you can see there is the original square flat at 0 degrees. So I found the intersection point at 10.440, and I'm never bringing Y towards me more than that figure. That's the figure I'm doing. So I've been sweeping around from 0 and gradually increasing, maybe 5 degrees at a time, to get this intersection point. I do need a little bit of light on here. On the end of the calipers, and I'm looking for that figure of the intersection of 256. And I'd say at the moment we're about 287, so I'm going to go 1 degree more. Till it stops. Let's go further in, 11.25. So leaving the high lobe and removing the rest of the cam down to the diameter of the upper portion that you can see. So there's the cam profile for the exhaust cam. I just got rid of the piece I was holding on. I basically held it back by the back there, turned it away. Before that I held it on the back piece again in the lathe, and I just spun that area down just below surface of the cam, because we don't want the back of this rubbing, should be out of line anyway. But yeah, so I've just spun that down a bit in the lathe, re-chamfered it all, and then I've machined the thickness of the cam to thickness. So that's the shape of the cam. I think we're probably going to need some slightest break edges on the top here, and obviously I'll deburr it all as well. So yeah, that was a lot trickier than I thought it was going to be. What I should have done is gone and wrote down the figures, and then I could have done the angles. It just would have been so much easier to do it properly, so I knew what that included angle was. So valve guides, 374 diameter. So that's going to be a touch off. Come on, there we go. Turn my feet on. Scratch pass. Not quite cleaned up. Over a length of, well, it's going to be 650 overall, but I'm going to go about 700. I set a 0 on the end. I'll do. Have a quick look at that and give it a mic up. Yes, it's not cleaned up. What size are we on at the moment? 375. I'm going to give it another little bit more. So this diameter is going to go in the rebate in the underside of the top and bottom plates that we did at an earlier point. That's cleaned up now. Okay. Right, so another diameter now. Now drawing shows 280 thou diameter. I know that I reamed the holes 8mm. So I'm going to be aiming for 8mm now. But the lengths are going to stay the same. And the length I'm looking for is 594 thou from the end. So I'll stop at 590. Take a couple of rough-in passes. Okay, let's have a measure of that. I'll just swap my mic into imperial metric. 8.29. Should put me about 8.19. Go to my 594. There we go. Was it 594? It was. Make that up again. Looking for 8mm. 8.13. Absolutely fine. Pass again into the 594. There. One more check. Should be there all by the shouting now. 8.01. Alright, I'm just going to try a bit bitty in there. Yeah, a bit bitty. Take another scratch off there. I think I'll use that as my reference for the fit. Pretty sure that was an 8mm reed hole. That fits. Okay. Let me just take a reference of what size that was. Want to make a second one? 7.956. I'll write that down. That's where I'll be aiming at with the second one. Okay, so third step now is going to be 188 thou diameter over a length of 375. Again, rough and pass. Stop at about 370. Put the mic back to Imperial. 188 I'm looking for. I don't know where I am at the moment, no idea. 249. It's like take 25 aside. Getting that size, 375. There. So this is in fresh air, but the spring will be sitting around the outside of it, and it's going to have a 2.5 degree taper, hence why I put the compound on. Right, that's 210. Take another 10 aside. Close now, should be about 190 thou. $1,895. That's absolutely fine. I'm going to leave that. Okay, so I'm going to want something to visualize with. So I'm just going to put some Sharpie on that end bit. Okay. You can turn the bead off now. I'm going to a touch here somewhere in the middle. Compound's already set. Put that 2.5 degree taper on there. It's 5 degrees included angle. 2.5 aside. It's almost a cosmetic detail this, but I suppose let me just lock the carriage. Get a touch down there somewhere close. There, I can just see it marking. Just wind the compound back off the end. Not quite into that root. Let's take another line on the scale. Does brass. Didn't have any bronze as it turned out. Well, I had a bit, but not enough to do them both. With a right in that corner. Right, just wind it all the way back off the end now, and we should be done. Here we go. So winding back along that 2.5 degree angle with a compound, put a little taper on it. I'm just going to remove any burrs on those 3 shoulders, just the lightest to break edges. So I need to part it off now, so a parting tool. Let's just stop that a second. Let's just get a reference on the end. So overall length of this is going to be 625 thou 5/8. Let's just get a reference on the end. Okay, gonna set a 0 there. And go maybe 640, 645, that'll do. Lock that off, palm it off. Right. So, focus, focus, focus. Don't know whether it's my eyes or my viewfinder, but there's the first one done. Yeah, happy so far. Well, there we are, guys. I think that's enough for this one, but a few useful little bits made, all steps in the right direction with the Webster engine. One thing of note, a parcel arrived from one of my good subscribers and regular contributors, a set of metric hand reamers, or machine reamers I should say. I believe they go from, you know, I haven't opened the packet yet, I think they go from about maybe 4 or 5 mil up to 12 mil, and I did say in a previous video I didn't have a 12 mil reamer, so Mats, thank you so much, that is much appreciated. I'll probably make myself a little stand to put these in so that I've got them to hand. Normally I've got a drawer here somewhere, yeah, it's that drawer there, and I keep reamers in a wooden box in there, but I think now that I've got this full set, as it were, of metric, I'll make a little stand so I've got them rode up and maybe label it and what have you. So that's something I'm going to have to do now. So I'm talking myself into more work. Anyway, as usual, guys, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you all very soon. Cheers now.